everybody. Welcome back to the Raw Read. So glad you decided to come by and see what I'm reading on today. But before we get to the read, I just want to remind you, just don't come and look at my videos. Subscribe. Become part of my tribe. I really, really, really would appreciate it. And give me a thumbs up so we can fight that dreadful algorithm and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload. All right, let's get to the read. Today's read is about something I saw that has happened um, that surprised me. And it got the wheels in my head turning. Like, what is going on here? And maybe some of my OG squatties can help me figure out what might be going on here. It's about Camilla. Camilla has done a national address. She addressed the nation, the UK, on Armed Forces Day. And the reason it's so surprising to me that this is something that's unheard of. No other consort has ever done that. And if you go look at the address, it has all of the remnants of Elizabeth II. It has all the pictures, it has some awards, you know. Camilla has centered herself and has taken on the mantle of Elizabeth II. That is why, if you look at my thumbnail, I'm asking the question, when did Camilla become the sovereign? Because she is starting to behave like the sovereign, like Elizabeth II. She is taking on tasks and responsibilities that has only been done by a blood royal of the or the sovereign. You know, it really started my wheels a turning because I'm gonna be honest. I thought the end game for Camilla was the big hat to be queen consort. I thought that was it. But this move right here lets me know that the game is not over. Camilla is still snaking. Camilla wants to be the sovereign. She wants to be the sovereign. She wants to be, she wants us to forget. Okay, let me go back. I'll tell you why I say that is because I found it so strange that they never talk about the queen. They never talk about her reign. They seem like they want to erase her from history. And I know that I think it was before the coronation. They let us know that Camilla would not be known as the queen consort. She would be known as the queen. Once she was crowned, she would be known as the queen. And I thought, okay, that's it. She has gotten what she wants. It seemed to be that Camilla hadn't got what she wants. Camilla wants to be the sovereign, and she has continued to snake. That is the reason why Harry and Meghan had to go. And you know what? I really thought that the problem was with Charles. The jealousy and all that was with Charles. And she just kind of fed into it and, to secure her place. But no, Camilla is as bad as Charles or worse. They are two birds of a feather flocking together. And that is the reason why they didn't want anybody there to be more popular than them. And they had to get rid of Meghan. They had to get rid of Harry. And they did. And it really got me to thinking about this whole thing with Kate. And why, could it have something to do with how Camilla want to center herself and is, two cooks is not big enough. I mean, the kitchen is not big enough for two cooks. You know that old saying, two cooks in the kitchen spoils a meal. Camilla have always wanted to be sovereign. And I'm starting to see that now. I just thought she wanted the big hat. But Camilla wants to be Elizabeth the second. What consort addresses the nation? I have known no one to address the nation in history except for the sovereign. Go look at it. She addressed the nation. She sit there in front of a desk with all the the surroundings like the queen, like the proper queen would do. And like I said, it really just started me to thinking of how, because we always, us squatters would say, we have to give her props. She played the long game. And we would say that as if the game was over. Oh, no, 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 no. With today's events, her addressing the nation, it lets me know that the game is not over for Camilla. I mean, Camilla continues to snake. And if William don't watch himself, he might fall prey to an accident and then Camilla be George's regent, which will make her as good as the sovereign. You better watch yourself because today really got me to thinking that Camilla is no better than Charles. Charles is very weak. Charles is very weak. So he will absolutely, Camilla can do as she pleases. She has him wrapped around her finger because he needs a mommy and she plays that for him. So William better watch yourself, you know. You better watch yourself going through tunnels, down long roads, up in them helicopters. Cause I would not be surprised if the whole family fell out of the air. Cause Camilla is not playing games. She is taking over. She has raised a lot of eyebrows. And I think probably with royal watchers and, um, you know, her doing all these things that only the sovereign would be doing. I bet she done raised a lot of eyebrows in the royalists because there's something going on. She is after something. I look back on the snake that Camilla is, and I thought about, what first came to my mind was, oops, let me hold it up. Was this little face right here, Diana? She was 19 years old. I think Camilla was like in her 30s, mid 30s. Diana was 19 years old, and she was scheming against this 19-year-old. She left a message before Diana got married. She left a message for Diana saying she wanted to have lunch and she wanted to see the ring. So Diana went to lunch with her, and she grilled Diana for every little weakness that she could find in her and maybe find within that relationship. Because, example, Diana said that she said she was like, she was so young she could not process what was going on, and that she asked her, was she gonna hunt? And Diana said no, and she said good. And what did she do? She knew that that was a weakness within that relationship, and she played on it. And every time you saw her, she was on a horse. She was out hunting with boots. She became the wilderness woman. And you know how Charles loves to forage for mushrooms and such. He did that when his mom was down or dying deathbed. And that's what she did. Diana wanted to, it was so bad before Diana got married. Diana was talked to her sisters about calling it off because he had bought her a bracelet before he even married Diana. He was still screwing around with her all through the engagement. I think Diana said she saw him 13 times before they got married. It wasn't very many times. And he was hot and cold, hot and cold. And then Diana found out about Camilla. And, she wrote her this note, and Diana said she just couldn't process all of it. And then she found out that he had bought a bracelet. And she was sitting in his office, and she called, and Diana said the day that when he went off to, I think it was a 5-week trip, and she was out there crying. She said she was crying because of Camilla had called him prior. She said she was crying about that. She wasn't crying about him leaving. The press was saying that she was crying about him leaving. She was crying about Camilla snaking. And Diana had lunch with her sisters and told them that she wanted to call off the wedding. And they say it's too late, Dutch. Your face is on the tea towel. She had no support within her family to call it off. When I got married and I was having doubts, my mom said, if you get to the altar and you decide that you don't want to marry him, you look over there at me and I will walk you out. We will walk out together. That's the kind of support you have for your child when they're having doubts about their wedding or the man that they're going to marry or just having just common cold feet. I didn't look over there at my mom, by the way. I did get married. But that was the support um, that Diana needed and wanted, but she didn't have no support. And then when she gets to her wedding, who is there? Who is there? Snaking. Oh, well, this is her before the engagement. There she was, snaking, 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 picking Diana for any kind of information that she could get to use in order to burrow her way more and more into Charles' life so she could get what she wanted, which now we know was power. There she is at Diana's wedding wearing white. In an interview, Diana said that when she walked in, she looked over there to the left, and that was Camilla in white. This snake wore white to Diana's wedding. And Diana thought it was to show that, it was against her. It was to show Charles. But I believe it was really something that she wanted to signal to Charles that, no matter what, one day I'm going to marry you, or I wish it was me marrying you, or I want to take the shine off of your wedding so people will report that your mistress has on white at your wedding. She was snaking doing something, but only she would know exactly why she wore white to Diana's wedding. But it was a snake move. Look at her. Wait a minute, let me go back. No, I'm gonna blow it up. See, look at her. That's what she had on at Diana's wedding. Tell me that's not a snake. Tell me that's not a snake. Look, it even has a veil. It has a veil on it, a white dress with a veil. That's what the snake wore to his wedding. Because she knew then that she wasn't going to stop snaking. She was not going to stop snaking. The night before Diana and him got married, he was with Camilla. He was with her. He he made sure I think they call each other Fred and Gladys. Fred and Gladys was plotting against a 19-year-old to use her for her ovary, for her uterus, to bring in the heirs, to bring in to give birth to William and Harry. And when her usefulness was gone, what happened? They kept snaking. They kept snaking. Diana talked about confronting her one day at a party. And Charles did not side with his wife, he sided with his mistress. He did. It was them. She had manipulated him to the point where he did not side with her, because his jealousy of her. I saw an interview with them, with Diana and Charles. And the interviewer just kept asking Diana questions. He would rarely ask Charles a question, and Diana would try to refer to Charles. So Charles would say something or be asked something, or that the interviewer would engage with him, but he would not. And you could see it was eating Charles up. That's what this, I think, by that time, because she had both boys by then, so she was maybe about 23, 24. I think Diana probably was maybe 25. She was still really young. By that time, Charles was completely through with her because he said it. He said, he had did his job. He had delivered an heir and a spare. His work was done, and at that time, he started on his business of destroying Diana. And that's exactly what they decided to do. And then it got to the point where Diana became more and more popular, more and more beloved, and he became more and more resentful. And probably Camilla was snaking in there and pouring in. It's no telling what kind of poison she was pouring into him, to the point where he hated her. So eventually, they had to get a divorce. Diana said she never wanted a divorce. Diana wanted to be queen. That's why I said Kate is going to stay there. But I digress. Diana did not want a divorce. He wanted the divorce. Because of why? Because they had a plan. They were working their plan, a plan that Diana was not aware of. And then the divorce happened. And then he called out the dogs on Diana, the tabloid press. He pulled the security and he called out the dogs. He sent in the wolves. Like he did the same playbook he did on Harry and Meghan in Canada. That's what they did to Diana. I saw Diana going through a airport with a tennis racket in her face, and they was on her like I have never saw in my life. She got in the elevator and they was trying to get in the elevator. They called the dogs on her. They called the dogs on her. Diana wrote in her diary that they're gonna try to kill me. It's gonna be an accident in my car. She thought it was gonna be her brakes. I think she said it was gonna be her brakes. But she did say that they're gonna try to kill me and it's gonna be a car accident. Where do you think she got that from? We'll never know exactly. But isn't it funny that's the way it happened? Diana was a problem that they had to get rid of. She was sucking all the she just became even more popular once she divorced him. And their jealousy grew and grew and grew, and she was standing in the way of Camilla marrying uh, Charles, so she can gather more and more power. So they got rid of her. And I believe that. And I stand 10 toes down on it. That's my belief, and that I have been consistent in it because it just turned out too good for them, didn't it? Because Camilla would have never got the big hat if Diana had lived. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I am wrong. Camilla never would have got the big hat if Diana had lived. So she had to die. And that's what happened. Just like Diana predicted her own death, she said that they were going to try to kill her in a car accident. And then when they got rid of Diana, the snake kept snaking. They had to rehabilitate her. They had to rehabilitate Charles. Who was they going to use? Harry. Use Harry. That little boy who has lost his mother, who has a brother that hates him, that's envious of him, that does nothing but sets him up, try to set him up for failure at every turn. Harry didn't have nobody. And that's who they said that they were going to use. And that's what they did. Planning stories, creating stories. Like Megan said, they did not throw Harry to the wolves. They fed him to the wolves. And then they put out this scenario, their narrative, that, oh, the tabloid press, they just left the boys alone after died. After Diana died, no, they just left the boys alone. And people like me believe that because I live in a whole different country. We could care less because once Diana died, the eyeballs of the world left that little island nation. And so whatever they said, we believed. But in actuality, they didn't leave the boys alone. Camilla was there. Their spin doctors was in the boardrooms coming up with lies and narratives to feed the tabloids in order to make Charles look better and her look better, clearing the way to the big hat ceremony. That's what it was all about. And they did that. And they did that. Left left Polo Harry in pieces. Like Harry said, just left his dead body just laying out there. Just threw him under the bus, drove over him, backed up right back over him. I bet it, article after article after article. Drug Adam, falling out of the clubs, just all kinds of stuff that they did to Harry. They did some stuff to William too, but it was mostly Harry. Cleared the way, used him. That killed the mama, killed his mama, and then used him. This is who we dealing with. This is the snake. Okay? All right. She finally married him. She snaked to the point where she married him. There it is. She snaked until she married him, even to the point where the queen was sit in the room with her. At one point, the queen wouldn't even sit in the room with her. But she kept on snaking. Look at her. Look at her face. She just kept on snaking until she got that. But did that stop her? No, ho, 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 ho. Not the snake. Not the snake. Not Camilla. And then after all of that, the queen stood in the way. Now, this is just a theory. I'm not saying that I believe it, but it has been brought up. I'm not the only person who brought this up. That they tried to kill the queen with COVID. You remember? The queen was in a bubble. Prince Philip was in a bubble through the heights of COVID. The Queen never got COVID. And then as COVID started to wane, all of a sudden the Queen got COVID. How did she get COVID? Charles came over there with COVID and gave it to her. But they made sure to say that she got it from maybe a staff member or something like that. But he had been over there 2 days before, and then he announced that he had COVID. Do I think that they're not so low that they wouldn't try to go over there with COVID and kill the Queen so they could take the reins? Do you think that they are just above that? I'm just putting that out there because it has went around in my head several times that maybe they were trying to kill the Queen, but the Queen rallied. But I don't think but I think they knew that she had excuse me, hold on, my little doggy. Okay, I had to take care of my dog. I'm back. But what I was saying was about COVID. Do you think that these people who I believe had something to do with Diana's death would not do that to the Queen? To know that they had COVID and they would take it over there to. He came over there and had lunch with the Queen, evidently without a mask because she was able to get COVID. They wanted the Queen. The Queen had got older and they wanted the Queen to hurry up and get out of here. I really feel that. That is my belief. And so once the Queen was out of the way, which of natural causes, not COVID, but I believe they tried to do it with COVID, the path was all clear for Camilla, the snake. And I must say, I thought that she, you know, after she got the big hat, then, game over, you won. The side chick is the Queen. Because, they told us from the beginning, well, before the coronation, that she was not going to be the queen consort. She was going to be the queen. They told us that. So she was the queen now. And so I said, okay, game over. She won. She got the big hat. She should be satisfied and whatever. But look, all of a sudden, Charles has got cancer and she's taking on the roles of the sovereign. Roles that nothing but the sovereign has ever done. Only blood royals have ever done. Camilla is doing them. And Charles is announcing that she's doing them. And then today, she addresses the nation. Camilla addresses the nation. And you know what that tells me? That the snaking is not over. William better watch his back because, like we were saying, if something happened to William, they would have Harry as, if something happened to Charles and William, that of course George would be next in line, but he's too little. I'm sorry about the jumping around. My dog is acting up. But who who said it would be Harry? Camilla might have a plan in place. And who knows, if Charles gets sick, William would be the regent. With Camilla taking on roles only blood royals have done, Camilla is centering herself like she's the sovereign. She is centering herself. The game is not over. She's still playing. And we need to watch. We need to keep an eye out because something is going on. What? I do not know, but she is centering herself for a reason. She is behaving like Elizabeth II, the sovereign. When we thought she had stopped playing, when we thought the game was over, no, the snake is still snaking. It's not over. Let's keep watching and see what happens. All I know is if I was William, I would check everything before I eat it. Before I ate it. I wouldn't eat over there. Uh-oh, here's the little doggy. All right, Coles. Turn around. Let me say goodbye. Turn around. Let me say goodbye. Sorry about that, y'all. He's ready to go on his WLK. But yeah, we need to keep our eyes open because Miss Camilla, the snake, is still snaking. All right, y'all. See y'all next time. Something to think about. Why is she still playing the game? Because she's definitely still playing. Bye. Let me go walk my dog. Bye.